Hey guys, welcome back to Arry the Stag. It's TR Tony here, out enjoying nearly 30 degrees Celsius down on the south coast this weekend. So stunning sunshine, blue sky, happy stag days. Looking forward to next weekend. We have the Bewley based National Stag Day, so very much looking forward to that and hoping to go on the Sunday, so may well see you guys there. If you do, please look us up. We'll happily have a chat and see what you're doing on the stag front. Meanwhile, today it was really just the second of two videos. We are now just going to have a look at the new Borg Warner 35 gearbox that Andy brought us a couple of weeks ago. You may remember we filmed the old one going back, but this is the new one and it's all nice and shiny, and I've just got to share with you the look and feel of it, if nothing else at this stage, but looks awesome and that's really good. Alright, so here it is in its finery, all nicely wrapped up as Andy brought it to us, so weather tight and all secure. A few pieces here to look at. He's given us the dipstick, all nice and shiny, all nicely wrapped up with that banjo bolt on the end there, the banjo fitting rather, you can see. I'll show you the washer in a minute. He was talking about the Doughty washer, if you remember last time he was with us, as being a crush washer that makes sure that is actually oil tight when in situ, but I'll talk you through that in a little while. And we have various other items here. These are the rear mounting brackets for the back of the gearbox onto the subframe of the car. I don't suppose I'll open those today, but we've got everything in there which Andy very kindly has given to us. And now I suppose we ought to start taking the plastic off to have a proper look. Oh, by the way, yes, these were the oil cooler pipes. We'll probably get new ones, and there's some electrics there to the gearbox as well, all nicely tagged up with a bit of zip wire to make sure we keep it safe and all in one place. And that was the inhibitor switch. I think they're just hanging off the back, but again I suspect we'll get new ones, new wiring anyway, when we get to it in due course. And here we are, the black plastic wrapping is coming off. It's a bit like Christmas actually with all this, isn't it? But I think you can really begin to see how shiny and new it's looking, which is very exciting. So exciting. I'll have to use two hands. I'll come back to you in just a second. Sorry about that. That was Downpipe Duke in action somewhere. Duke, where are you? Duke? There he is. Oh, he's gone. There we are. Back to the Borg Warner. And here it is in its full glory. Look at this. It absolutely immaculately. You could eat your dinner off it. It's that clean. Perfect engineering. All looked torqued up with the appropriate marks on the bolts here. So Andy's done a brilliant job here. This was the kick-down cable he was referring to earlier on when he came around to show us actually how all this worked, and you can see there the fact that it's been held on a Bowden cable there, and it's quite important to get that setting right so that you can adjust the engaging of the gears, and so that no doubt will come to when we refit the car. The inhibitor switch again is just down there. The wiring I was just showing you a minute ago is there. We've got the serial code and the detail here of the actual unit, if we can see that. I don't know if we can see that, but it's a little bit dark, but hopefully that's a bit better. There we are. So that's our serial code. This piece here is where the speedo drive comes from, so that's where our speedo comes out, and of course at the back there is the splines to the prop shaft and the rear drive and differential. That's all good. At the front you'll see Andy's taken some initiative. He did say he'd fitted the torque converter to the gearbox, so it's already in. We've managed to nab back some original bolts that were holding the torque converter to the drive plate, which is the official word for the automatic drive plate. It's not a flywheel, it's a drive plate. Thank you for that feedback. And he's put in here temporarily a piece of wood with some bolts just to hold it all in so it doesn't fly out. He did say he'd put a certain amount of literage of fluid into the gearbox. It will need topping up, and he told us the procedure for that when we get to it, but it has got at least some in it, which is all good. Whilst we're about it, he was talking about how susceptible these gearboxes are to standing around, and that you would have seen from the analysis of our previous box that actually the plates inside can rust quite significantly over time if they're not turned over in the oil that would have been inside it. You get damp condensing inside, and that can really mess up the drive plates with a bit of rust and whatever. Before you know it, you've got a knackered gearbox when you try and start it up after it's been standing for many years. So it's got its own little ecosystem inside. I didn't know this, but this was really interesting too. At the base of the bell housing here, if you can see, there is actually a gap. It's an inspection cover down the bottom here, which you can probably just about see. And this plastic stone guard was supposed to fit in that and make sure that no stones get inside. Well, we never had one on ours, so not quite sure what went on there, but we've got one now from Andy, so that will make sure we don't get too many stones flying up off the road and damaging our precious box. But I think you can see he's done a really good job, and we're all very, very happy about it. And I've just moved round to this side of the gearbox, and again, as ever, proper lovely engineering, all lovely silver finished. Andy's put over some caps here which are covering the this is where the oil cooler pipes go in and come out of here. That goes forward to the front of the engine, as you know. Here's the selector gear here that connects to your connector rod. I think this is actually an adjuster. I may have said this was for filling up with oil before, so apologies for that. It isn't. That's actually something to do with adjusting the plates inside, so again, needs to be very carefully adjusted. It's got a release nut on there as well. Here is the breather. So again, Andy mentioned there's a rubber pipe that comes off of that and up away from the engine. Just be careful we don't get a kink or anything gets melted on the pipe that comes out, because if that gets blocked, then you get a build-up of pressure inside, and that's not constructive for bursting your engine or your gearbox open, which is a very good tip Andy mentioned. And then really just to finish off, the final thing is the oil filler pipe, which fits in here with a banjo fitment, which I'll just show you in a couple of seconds. And on top of the fridge freezer here, you can see the banjo at the bottom end of the filler dipstick pipe for the gearbox, which comes onto the socket I just showed you. I don't know if you can see that. The banjo itself is actually quite cleverly designed. It's called a banjo because it's reminded of a banjo, I guess. You can see there it's a semicircular kind of casing that locks and gets the bolt through to allow the oil to move around in through there. One thing that Andy was very at pains to point out was, if you've got a leak here in your gearbox on an auto with your Stag, then have a good look at the washers that are actually in here, because what you need to get hold of is a couple of Doughty washers, which he did mention before if you were watching the first film. And these are actually crushable washers. Now, I don't know if you can see there, but there's a outer kind of metal kind of circumference, and then also there's a leather stroke rubber, I think it's leather actually, which is designed to be crushed as you bite them up. There's one for either side, and that goes on the front and the back of your banjo fitment here, which clearly then makes it nice and oil tight. He said if you don't use those Doughty washers, as he called them, then there's a good chance that you'll have an oil leak, and obviously being where that is, it will be quite profuse and quite remarked. And actually on our old gearbox there was quite a lot of oil deposit coming from that area, so don't think we actually had the right washers and banjo washers in the kit on the box at the same time. So there we are, top tips from Arry the Stag. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Hope you really enjoyed the Borg Warner 35 update. It is quite a piece of engineering, and you will have seen the previous video where Andy actually disassembled our old one and told us exactly what was wrong with it, and it was a perfectly good decision to make the decision to go for the replacement one, and thanks to Andy for all his help. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you all at next weekend's Bewley. If you happen to be there, please feel free to look us up and say hello. It'll be great to meet with you. We'll have part of the team, most of the team with us actually on the day, so that'll be good. And as ever, please feel free to like, share, subscribe and share the classics dream that we all have in our Triumph Stag mark, and we'll see you on Arry the Stag very soon. Cheers for now guys, all the best.